What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we're talking about Dogecoin today. Gotta love Dogecoin. This chart might look a little different than you're used to, and that's because it is. We're talking about Doge versus BTC. Okay. Now, if we were to, yeah, let's compare it. Sure, why not? Doge USD on Bittrex, because I'm pretty sure it has just the same amount of historical data there. I'm going to do a couple of things real quick, logarithmicize this thing. Okay, cool. So you can see here that this orange chart, which is the Doge versus USD pair, is immensely different. I mean, not quite so different recently, right? But it is immensely different overall than the BTC chart, right? You can see that on the BTC chart. I'll make this invisible just real quick. That we had a very, very long, flat, and I mean, it was volatile. It was volatile throughout all this, but we didn't have a noticeable trend upwards until the last bull market, right? Very, very long consolidation phase. And, now, and you can see on the USD pair here, while we were moving sideways, wigwagging throughout all this, Doge actually did have a bullish phase here. But it doesn't look as bullish here. You did have a sizable up move and then a sizable down move here. By the time you had new all-time highs in Dogecoin, you actually had lower highs versus Bitcoin. So just something to keep in mind. And again, these things have been a little bit more correlated ever since the last bull market. But what I'm trying to get to is, and I'm going to delete this now because I don't think I need it, is can Dogecoin lag compared to Bitcoin? Can it take its sweet ass time while Bitcoin and the rest of the market goes up? Can it do that and then perform well toward the end of the bull market? Yes, it absolutely can. In fact, I would argue that it's done that basically its whole existence. Let's compare it now to Bitcoin, BTC USD. We'll do it on the index. Sure, here we go. And I have to logarithmicize it again. I don't know if that's the right word, but I use that anyways. So versus Bitcoin, right? Oh man, then can I compare it versus Doge too? Can I throw another one on there? Let's see. Doge, USD, dollars, Bittrex, new price scale. Yeah, I can. Okay, cool. And then this one's over here. Nice. And we are we logarithmic? We're not. There we go. All right. So Dogecoin here, you can see on this blue one, if I can move it, there we go, that it didn't start turning up until about here, right? This is when Dogecoin started turning up. This is Doge. The candlesticks, I know it might seem confusing, but bear with me. If you can get over the headache, just bear with me here. The candlestick is Dogecoin versus BTC. The orange is Bitcoin itself versus the dollar, and the blue is Dogecoin versus the dollar, okay? So what brought me to bringing all these lines up here was the idea that can Dogecoin lag behind Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market before it turns up? And I said yes, and here's why, right? Look at where Bitcoin bottomed, okay? Look at where Doge versus BTC bottomed. It didn't bottom till quite some time afterwards. In fact, where it bottomed was right before what? Right before it really started to take off. But when did Bitcoin take off? When did this orange line start to take off? It started to take off way back here. Way back here. Arguably, if we took this whole move actually from like when it started to take off, which we could say, I don't know, let's do it right here. Not at the low itself, but like when it really started to move. This right here was a total of about 115 bars on this scale. Okay, so half of that would be about 57 and a half bars. We'll do 57, 58. Let's do it. Whatever, 58. So halfway through Bitcoin's rally, okay, in time at least, not through price, but in time, Dogecoin was still making lower lows relative to this like area, right? It was moving sideways. It wasn't doing anything exciting. In fact, it wasn't until about the 80th week, 76th week, that Dogecoin finally turned up, well past the halfway point for Bitcoin and its bull market. Again, not in price, but in time. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to go over is time. Bitcoin here started to turn up over here. Bitcoin versus Dogecoin still moving sideways, kind of within this range overall. Did Dogecoin start to turn up? No, it did not. It actually continued to bleed down. Okay, here's where Bitcoin started to turn up right here. Very, very noticeable. Did Dogecoin turn up? I mean, it started to go up. It bottomed at that point, but it didn't really start to turn up until about here. Which again, if you'd like to argue that this is the start of the bull market at this low here, right, all the way up to the high here, that would be, maybe even over here, that's 152 bars. Dogecoin didn't start to turn up really until about 104 bars. 152, 104, that's about 2/3 of the way through the bull market, like literally through it, right? Bitcoin by the time that Dogecoin started to turn up, Bitcoin was already back at like its all-time highs, okay? Which, by the way, Bitcoin is nowhere near its all-time highs right now, okay? And then same thing kind of over here. Whenever Dogecoin started to turn up, what was Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin broke its previous all-time highs, and if this would show all of it, maybe I should do that. Here, we'll go to the Bitcoin pair to just kind of make things a little bit more confusing. Let's do it. BTC USD index here, okay, and then we'll do Dogecoin again, because I think you guys saw the Dogecoin versus Bitcoin pair, enough. So I'm just gonna kind of do this instead here. Here we go. So now the orange line is Dogecoin. All right, logarithmic. Here we go. So by the time, and this is what I was trying to say, was we didn't have this top here, right? But by the time that Bitcoin was at, and it actually broke its all-time high right here, that's when Dogecoin really started to turn up. It was literally, like if we put a line right here, right here, it was on this peak that it broke it. That's where this little crux came in, right? And that's when we started to tear up, man. And again, that was well over halfway through the bull market, right? You can see Bitcoin started its bull market way down here. This uptrend for Dogecoin happened well after Bitcoin had started its bull market. A lot of people, if you were in Dogecoin and instead of Bitcoin, people were laughing at you. They're like, haha, you made a stupid mistake. You finally listen to them. You're like, maybe I should get into Bitcoin. And then Dogecoin takes off, Same thing over here. Bitcoin had been in its bull market for quite some time already. By the time that Dogecoin really started to turn up, which was right here on this like little crux right there, that's what we're going to give it. Where was Bitcoin? Bitcoin was right there. Not breaking its all-time high, but pretty close to its, a lot closer than we are now. My thought that I'm trying to introduce, if you guys haven't gotten it already, is that can Dogecoin continue to move sideways in this and not turn up immediately? Is it time for Dogecoin to go off to the moon, or is it doing the same thing that it's done its previous? I mean, just even look at the orange line itself. I'm going to try to flatten out this Bitcoin chart here. Just look at this. Look at how long this accumulation zone was. How long this was. This is a lot smaller, right? You can see it. Like this whole zone, accumulation. This whole zone, accumulation. This is our accumulation zone right now. Look at how much dramatically smaller it is. So just the same thought that I've been saying over and over again, because I'm just kind of trying to hammer it over the head so that it's really drilled into to anybody who's watching this. I'm not trying to like brainwash you or anything. I'm just offering my opinion, but I want to make sure that you guys get it. It's that Bitcoin can sure as shit be above $50,000 while Dogecoin is doing nothing, doing absolutely nothing with itself, right? Why is it? Oh, I'm sorry. That's not 50,000. That is way. It's because I'm out of context here. Let's see. So, Bitcoin, right? It could be up here before Dogecoin, right? That's $52,000. It could make a move all the way up like that in virtually a straight line, like it's been doing. I know it seems boring, guys, and it is pretty boring, but Bitcoin has been moving up in a nice trend, right? It could continue to do that while Dogecoin continues to just like meander and do its thing. I do expect that Dogecoin will inevitably see a fantastic rally along with Bitcoin and most cryptos, but Dogecoin does its own thing. There's a lot of coins that do their own thing, and they will start their bull markets before Bitcoin. They will lead the pack. Dogecoin is a laggard. It really is. It starts its bull market after the bull market is already halfway done. And the reason for that is it makes these spectacular moves very, very fast. So you wind up, and with all that winding, man, you get this big explosion, That's just what I'm trying to get, is that I saw a video. I'm not going to say from who, because I'm not trying to call anybody out or anything, but very, very big account, a person that I respect personally. He doesn't know who I am at all. But he made a video on Dogecoin today talking about how it's probably going to turn up here soon, and that like it's getting toward go time for Dogecoin. I don't see that. I personally don't see that. I can be wrong. He can be wrong. Maybe we could both be wrong. I don't know how that would work. But I'm just trying to say, for anybody that might be feeling the FOMO with Doge, I hope this chart, this video, kind of helps illuminate, shine a light on the fact that there's plenty of time. There's plenty of time. If Dogecoin was to turn up here, break this high. Above what for Dogecoin, that'd be like 12 cents, or break this high even at like that's 9.5 cents there. If we were to break above these highs and start forming an uptrend, that would be a first for Dogecoin. We've actually never done that in the previous cycles. I guess here we did start to form an uptrend to be completely fair. Let's see what Bitcoin was doing. We did start to form an uptrend here. I don't know. We could, but we didn't break this high, so I wouldn't expect that we break this high. If we do continue to go up for Dogecoin, it wouldn't be by much. It wouldn't be anything like this. And overall, guys, I really do expect that we haven't found the low yet. I do think Dogecoin is going to go lower. And that's where we go back to what I started with originally, which is Doge versus BTC, okay? I'm going to delete all the other stuff so there's not a whole lot of noise on here. Okay, yeah, I did it right, okay. And that's the fact that with the USD chart, Dogecoin looks like it's moved sideways. It looks like it's bottomed, right? With the BTC chart, you have a lower high, you have a lower low. You are still firmly entrenched in this downtrend. And it actually looks kind of like it's doing this, right? Like you have this like nice kind of like U, right? But how deep this thing goes, I don't know. It could go a little bit deeper. We very well could have a lower low. All we've done is have lower highs and lower lows. That's all we've had. I mean, technically, two major highs, which are lower, and two major lows, which are lower as well. The RSI, this is where we can start to do some real TA. The RSI right now on a weekly basis has rejected the 50. We have 19 hours left in this week, and if this week were to close green like this, you know, you might make a run to get above the 50, but you've been above the 50 before and that didn't promote anything, right? You've been above the 50 here, got above it, and then boom, you went to new lows versus Bitcoin at a percentage from low to low, percentage difference of, I think it was 28%, 20%, okay? If you were to go 20% from low to low here, just to put it in perspective, that would be about there, you know what I mean? And that's versus Bitcoin. Okay, what's it going to do versus the dollar? Normally when you lose value versus Bitcoin, you lose even more versus the dollar. Unless Bitcoin's turning up and Dogecoin just isn't. But I think Bitcoin looks bearish right now too, so I don't know if I really expect that. What I would expect, you know, even if we do close green, I would expect that sooner or later this Doge versus BTC chart is going to continue to make lower lows. I don't think that we found the bottom on this yet. Let's see what this high to this low is here. I mean, yeah, maybe we make a run up to the 618. And then turn lower from there. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe we turn around from here. The next day will be a little bit more decisive in that. We do have 19 hours and 25 minutes in this day. We're up 1.56%. So if Dogecoin can lose 1.56% of its value versus Bitcoin, this rejection off of the 50 will look a little bit more real. And then looking at the daily, you have a bounce off the 50, right? But you also have hidden bearish divergence where you have a high that's slightly higher than this high, and here you have a high that's tied up and it's actually a little bit lower than this high here. So that is hidden bearish divergence. It does look rather toppish to me. You've got lower daily closes, lower high daily closes as well. Again, let's see. I don't know. What would this fit be maybe? From top to bottom here. I don't know. You did some deep extensions. You are bouncing off of the 1618. So again, maybe you do come up. Maybe you come up again, you form a double top, or maybe you form a slightly higher high, something like that. But all in all, I would expect that this chart rolls over. You are below the 50 on this long-term RSI, and you are above the purple line. That's generally not a good combination. It's the 123 MA and the 123 RSI itself. You can look at the relations yourself if you want to, but like, let me see over here. I don't know. Maybe this one isn't a good one to go off of. It looks like it disrespects this line a lot. So I don't know. Maybe disregard that. But still, it's not a good look. But beyond that, the short-term RSI doesn't look good on the weekly or the daily, in my opinion. 4 hour kind of looks good. And again, the 4 hour, it's a lot lower of a time frame. So this, you know, it can promote a little bit of a move up. Maybe we go above this. This kind of does look like a nice little like U and then a V here. Like you've got kind of like this, I've got a lot of lines on the chart here, but you've got like a little W action going on. If this W is to be legit, then you would go higher than where the W started. Maybe you form a double top. Maybe you go slightly higher than that even, but ultimately I would expect that we're going to see some down moves soon. We might not even do that. W's can be busted as well, where you have a second leg that is shorter than the first leg, and then that implies further dramatic downside to come. So I don't know, something to look for. I just mainly wanted to address kind of a different train of thought. We don't normally look at Dogecoin versus BTC, and beyond that, looking at Dogecoin USD versus Bitcoin USD, just showing how Dogecoin does take its time. It does accumulate longer than most cryptos, than BTC for sure, and it can perform very well, better than most cryptos, better than BTC with a dramatically shorter frame of time. let's see here. Let's do Doge USD on Bittrex, right? That's what we're gonna do. So go to the monthly here. Before I end the video, this will be my last little closing piece. So where it really started to turn up, not where it bottomed, but where it started to turn up, from then to the top, that was less than a year. Okay, from here, from where you started to turn up to the top here, that was less than, nope, that was half a year, exactly half a year, 6 months. Okay, so can Dogecoin, if the projected end of the bull market is supposed to be toward, sometime in 2025, maybe it's in the beginning, maybe it's in the end. A lot of people are saying it could be in the end of 2025. Maybe it even goes into the beginning of 2026. That's totally possible. But if it's in the beginning of 2025, then when would Dogecoin start to turn up? Just based off of this, at a furthest distance, it would be the beginning of 2024. Well, here we are in August. Beginning of 2024 would be, at least 4 months away, but probably more like 5 or 6 months away, right? So that's plenty of time for Dogecoin to go down in the meantime. If it's 6 months, and then the bull market's supposed to end in the beginning of 2025, then that would mean toward the mid end of 2024 is whenever we could start to see Dogecoin turn up, right? If it ends later than that, if the bull market ends in the later half of 2025 or in 2026 even, then that time frame only extends. So I don't know. I'm covering this because I really do like Dogecoin. I personally am trying to nail this thing. I really want to get in at the right price. I want you guys to get in the right price too. This isn't financial advice. It's just my opinion, but I hope that it helps provide some clarity or at least reduce the FOMO that any and all people might feel, because I feel like Dogecoin, it does its own thing, man. It really does its own thing. So seeing crypto getting bullish or hearing bullish things about crypto, that doesn't necessarily, obviously it's bullish for Dogecoin too, but Dogecoin doesn't care. It does its own thing. It accumulates for a long time. It likes to bore people out. And as it's done in its previous 2 bull cycles, before it has a major tear up, everything else is going up without it. It's that coin that people are going to laugh at you like, haha, you're holding Dogecoin, it's not going to do anything. And then right whenever you believe them, right when you're like, damn, I should have just bought whatever, name your coin, Dogecoin will outperform the rest. It's worth the wait. It's definitely worth the wait. If anybody's investing in this for the long term, I'm not trying to scare you out of your position. Stay in your position. If you have a 5 year, 2 year time frame on this thing, stay in it. This isn't financial advice, but I definitely wouldn't recommend selling. I would only recommend buying more at lower prices. If you haven't gotten into Dogecoin and you want to, I wouldn't recommend buying here. I would recommend buying more at lower prices. That's my overall opinion. So I feel like I've said everything I need to say. If you guys like the video, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to see more. I will see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.